Hi, hello, welcome back to the channel. This is Balaji. So today we're going to learn about these three functions, that is union, union all, and grouping sets. It's very likely that you would have heard or learned about the first two functions, but very unlikely that you'd have heard or worked on the last function, that is the grouping sets function. Let's learn about it. So let's brush up on what is union and union all. So by definition, what is union and union all? So union, when you apply a union between the output of two queries, the output of both the queries are combined and only the distinct records are shown. Whereas for union all, by using union all, the output is combined, but unlike union, all the values are shown, including the duplicates or repeated records. So I have an example for you people. Right. We have query A, query B. Query A's output is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Query B's output is 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 and 120. So pausing here for a second, let's see if you can write down what would be the output for a union and what would be the output for union all. Alright, moving forward. Right. So for union, if you see in the bottom, all the records are out, but it's only the distinct records. So although 20, 40, 60 is there in both query A and query B, 20, 40 and 60 are repeated only once. But whereas in union all, 20, 40 and 60 are shown twice in the output. That is, all the records are shown including the duplicated values. In case these values were duplicated or repeated thrice or four times also, the similar number of records will be shown in the output. So that's essentially what union and union all is. But what is grouping sets? So grouping sets is a function that is an alternative to union all, but this is available only in MS SQL Server. So let's learn how this works, and this is a very easy alternative instead of using union all. So let's move to the console and learn how it's executed. Well, here we have a table named transactions, and we have three columns, that is the city, the date and the amount column. And right side, if you see, we have all the cities: Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai. We have date ranging from 1st of April to 5th of April, and we have a random amount. Now let's try to understand how the union function works. So the first output we are going to try to get is all the cities or all the records which have the city name is Bangalore. So I'll write where city equals Bangalore. Right, we have Bangalore, all the dates from 1 to 5, and we have the amount. Now let me write another query which has all the cities but on date of 1st of April. I'll just copy this. Here I'll write date equals 2023 and 1. I'll comment this for you. Right, we have 4 cities with date 1 and amount. Say if you want to combine these two outputs, how will you combine? You're going to write both the queries and write just union, and it's going to give you all the records. That is, from the first one it will show you all the Bangalore cities records, and from the second it's going to show you all the records on 1st of April. But if you see here, Bangalore repeats only once, as in it doesn't duplicate. But say I'm going to use union all. What happens? Right, so from the first query we have Bangalore, date 1 to 5 and all the amounts, and from the second query you have all the cities, date 1 and all the amounts. And if you see, Bangalore repeats twice because it's not going to eliminate any of the duplicated values. It's going to show all the values. But how do you use, or where do you use this function called grouping sets? So I will make some changes to this query. So let me remove this where. So let's say we have the first query as city, comma, some amount as total. Now we are aggregating the above query with respect to the city, and let's aggregate this second query but with respect to date. So I'll write it as date sum amount as total. Right. So now, do you think this query will execute? If yes, why? If not, what is the error it's going to show? Well, this query will throw up an error only because on the first query we are getting city-wise aggregated amount, and in the second query we are getting date-wise aggregated amount. And city-wise and date-wise cannot be clubbed together because city and date cannot be in the same column. Let me run this. Right, we cannot have both of them in the same column because one is a string, the other one is a date. So how can this be neglected in usual terms is you will have to give a null column. So I'm going to give a null column, and here I'm going to give a null column in place of city. So it's going to have city and null values in the bottom. It's going to have null values on the top and city date in the bottom. Well, we didn't group it by one city and group by date. Alright, if you see here, the first query gives an output with respect to aggregation by city. We have city names and all the amounts are summed. But with respect to second query, it's aggregated with respect to the date, and therefore all the dates are here, and city column it has a null value, and all the amounts are summed with respect to the date. Now, isn't this tedious? You might not have equal number of columns in both the queries and you might get an error. So what happens is we have an other function called grouping sets, which is going to take care of this issue. So let me remove this, and what has to be done here is, let me remove the null value, I'll give it date, and the function works like this. So we're going to group by grouping sets. So the first one would be city, comma, second one would be date. So here what it's going to do is it's going to group by city also, group by date also, and union them. So when I run this, right, here are the same values. So first one is group by city and group by date, and both of them are here. So the top part of this data, all of these are grouped by dates and all of these are grouped by cities, and we have the output. Say if we want to group by city and date, so I'm going to do this, comma, I'll put it in bracket, city, comma, date. Make sure that each of the metrics that you want to group by are segregated by a parenthesis and a comma. So if I run this, sorry, this will be tt. Right, so this looks confusing. Let me order it. Order by 1. Right, if you see here, there's a, this will be a little confusing to understand, but let me try showing you this. So all these first few values are grouped by the date. Alright, now which are the ones grouped by city? So the ones which have city as the city name and date as null. So all of these are grouped by cities. The Bangalore here, the Chennai and Delhi here, and Mumbai here. And the rest of these are grouped by city and date. So given there is only one uh, distinct value of a city comma date combination, the value is going to be the same. So on 1st of April in Mumbai, it says 85.80, and in 1st of April in Mumbai it is 85.80. So assume that I add another uh, data. So I'm going to copy this. Let me make this 85.80 and let me make this 0.20. So what's going to happen? So Mumbai 1st of April is going to become 86. That is going to just aggregate these two of them and show it as 86. This is where it's getting aggregated by both date and city, and therefore this is how it's going to work. So this can be maybe average also, right? So what should it be for Mumbai here? Right, it has summed up these two and divided by 2, and therefore we have 43.00. And this is how grouping sets function work. If you have any doubts, put it down in the comments and I'll be happy to resolve it for you. And also, this grouping sets function works only in MS SQL Server and not in MySQL. In MySQL, the only way to implement this would be by using union with all the aggregations separately. And yeah, feel free to share this with your friends if they are learning or preparing for interviews, and it will be pretty helpful for them. Thank you.